Hello guys and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II World at War with our Allied playthrough. In the last two episodes we've been working on probably the longest turn to date. Major developments, most of which I've repeated. The most recent one is that we actually landed in Brest, for what's that worth, a little bit late, but we'll see how it ends up. Rather than rehash all the same things, I'm going to go ahead and hit end turn and we'll just see what the Axis has in store for us. US oil embargo hits Japanese morale. Okay, now I'm seeing these things pop up again. Still don't really know how this works. Technology. Woo! We got a MPP reduction percentage due to fall, I guess, in America, lowering the amount we send. So sad, only 70. Oh well. India's still sending plenty. That amount's increasing as India's MPPs go up. Hanoi, Kunming still going. Very happy. USSR is up to 77% mobilization right now. Could still go up based on the Japanese. Yeah, right here. Japanese weakness in Manchuria. Let's see what they do. Yugoslavia is still on the verge of collapse. Greece still doing well. Enemy submarines, I knew this would happen. I knew they'd show up. But even though it's advanced sub level 2, we did get in on it. Oh my god. What? Oh my god, they're attacking me in port. They're really trying to counter me here. Their navy's moving. Wow, okay. I didn't expect them to be so aggressive with it. Reinforcements in Manchuria, but not much else. We got some enemies operationally moving down to Greece, some reinforcements along the border with the USSR. Okay, and maybe some upgrades as well. Reinforcements and upgrades. Probably a lot. I'm seeing infantry weapon level 2. That's not good for us. I did look at the reports, and I saw the Axis is actually spending more on research than I am. Maybe it's because of their research being somewhat forced, but it's quite impressive. I thought I was overspending. Oh, God. Oh, Singapore. Oh, Singapore. Oh, God. Oh, DEI. You're about to be DED. Oh, shit. Alright, we got a lot of bombing happening over Belgrade. Most of it accomplishing nothing except that last bombing right there. And, oh, God, the tanks. Yup, Belgrade's about to fall. There's no way Belgrade can hold. Yep. This might be the turn, yeah, where Yugoslavia falls. Unfortunately, Yugoslavia is probably not going to be alive after this turn. We have one core remaining, but Belgrade's pretty much fallen. I knew Yugoslavia would fall, so it's no surprise to me. Italians trying to push up against the Greeks, still failing. A lot of Italian commitment over here. They didn't commit in Libya, so they have to commit somewhere. So far, overall, everything kind of going according to plan. Enemy destroyer popping. Oh, they're really, really upsetty about what we're doing down here. Look at how much they're moving into this region now. They're really, really wanting to counteract what we have going here. I mean, the carriers are basically begging to be attacked. US oil embargo hitting Japanese morale. Yugoslavia surrenders. Yep, saw that coming. Germany plunders 148 MPP. That's not good. And now the front leading down to Greece is not bueno. We see some annexations from Hungary, Germany, Italy, and they created the new state of Croatia. Interesting. Pete Garrison deploys in French Polynesia? What? I guess I didn't even need to buy the garrison I bought because a free one deployed. Axis raiders disrupt British merchant shipping in the Thames estuary. Oh. Oh. A supply in London. Roosevelt broadcasts warning of the danger of a Nazi victory in Europe. Okay. Interesting. And that's their whole turn. Not very offensive at Brest, which is good. The USSR now up to 83%. Yeah, dude, like one more turn of that. Like they went up 12% this time. One more turn even remotely like this and last turn, USSR is going to enter the war within 2 turns from now, whether the Axis invades or not. Spotting enemy core. That is the Slovakian, a Slovakian army, I believe. Tanks near Memel. More amphibious transports. I can't believe they're committing to this so much. Enemy subs in the North Sea. Ooh, oh wow. Intelligence becoming very, very handy. Heavy cruiser near Danzig. Yeah, only a garrison up there. Atlantic Charter joint declaration by Churchill and Roosevelt as a first statement of war aims. Okay. The first American volunteer group, or Flying Tigers, is being formed by Claire Chennault. It now has 300 pilots and 100 aircraft, but requires funds as well as authorization to enable it to travel to China to fight the Japanese there. We recommend approving this, as sending this unit to China will boost Chinese national morale by 2,500 points, and its presence there will improve China's ability to take on the Japanese Air Force. Would you like to spend 75 MPPs to enable the Flying Tigers to travel to China for service there? If you say yes, a half-strength fighter unit with 2 experienced units will deploy in Chinese service at Chengdu. Do I get to keep it for myself? If it doesn't deploy? Is what I'm more curious about. Like, does it just disappear? It sounds like it just disappears, to be honest. So, sure. Might as well. National morale for China is always good. Flying Tigers. I'll take it. That'll help. We got the 16th USSR Army. We have a nice place to put them right here. Nice fortification just waiting for them. And that's the whole thing right there. Okay. Now, I have not received any new British ship after not accepting that event where a ship was supposed to go into Nantes, and it doesn't look like we can actually blockade that. So maybe I should, or Nantes, Nazaire. So maybe we should have, oh, I was reading the town. Maybe we should have accepted that 20 MPP raid. Unfortunately, I didn't. So I guess that sucks a little bit. Looks like we can actually get past the enemy. Yeah, the enemy submarine here with our submarines. It's quite interesting. However, this sitting here, like, I put this here for a reason. I knew they might show up here. And they did. I didn't think it would be so aggressive so soon. We can't do a lot there, but we'll have to figure out what we can do. We got a lot on our plate this turn. Oh, this is interesting. The Germans left, and a lot of the Italians left as well. Whether they simply ran back a little bit, or they operated. Is there a railroad here? Yeah. Or they operated to get ready for Barbarossa and to deal with Greece. I'm unsure. But we landed in Brest, and the enemies have basically just said to us, hey, come on in. We'll be very careful about it, but we're going to start poking forward across this river then. Let's move the French partisans forward first. They matter less. So we still have an enemy German corps at Nantes protecting Saint Nazaire. Good to know. We can send the Rupert Force Special Forces forward as well. In fact, we can send both of them even more forward, but this opens up a good enough of a front that actually allows us to start getting more units heading down here. Breaking through these enemies is going to be difficult, but the more units they just allow me to stuff here, the better. Also, I forgot to take the first garrison and move it back to London, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Something has to sit on London. Something. We're going to put the first corps from the BEF that did not die into a transport. We're going to sail that down to Brest. We're going to need to actually make room for it, so we'll move the HQ up a touch real quick here. It has arrived. We're going to go ahead and move it forward. There's nobody else in range to go. There are Canadians that can be shipped over. This will take a little while. We'll come back to this later. I just wanted to make sure we can move forward and establish a little bit of a front. We have other places needing our attention. Primarily, we're talking about Greece here, so let's see. We're not needing any other upgrades here. The enemies, we're going to let them come to our fortifications up here, but down south, where we're still just kind of breaking away at them, we're going to want to press what advantage we have. So let's go ahead and start with that. Let's go ahead and attack first with the Athens Corps. Did 1 damage, got some XP, took no damage, and then did another 1 damage with the first corps here, got some XP. Our entrenchment in these hills is really good. Not that it's actually even necessarily needed. We are probably going to want to reinforce whenever we can, rather than simply pushing forward more. I think our zones of control here, thanks to the Epirus army, are honestly pretty good as is. So we're going to swap the Athens Corps forward here. And then we let the second corps go on the offensive as well. Their entrenchments aren't as good, but look at that. They did 2 damage and actually chased this corps out of its hex. So that's actually pretty nice. And so next turn, we'll get to reinforce the Athens corps back up to 10. If it ever was at 10. Down here by Ethiopia, we finally have a chance to do something. The Gurkha Special Forces have arrived, teaming up with the Sudanese Defense Force Corps. We're going to go ahead and attack Massawa. It's been a while. We dealt 2 damage, took none. Alright, that's probably one of the worst attacks we've done yet, but let's go ahead and attack with the Gurkha Special Forces. Dealt 2 damage, took none. Dealing 4. We've done this with the Corps before, but that's what we managed right now. At least we took no damage, so we have a better front line against the opponents here, which I am quite satisfied with. Our supply here has slightly improved. Ooh. Our ability to move here is not the greatest. And the artillery cannot move forward too quickly. Oh, it's not the greatest because of the shape of the road. The road doesn't go through here. The road goes up and around. Alright, so we'll just let the army continue walking up the road. We have to just walk the heavy artillery up the road as is the way it is without too much we can do. Do the Indians have mobility yet? No, they're not going to have it for a while at this rate, unfortunately. Mekelle, what a weird name over here, is basically just available to be stepped on. I might just go do that, leave the second corps here in their entrenchments, take the first corps and go step and kind of maybe destroy their supply a little bit. There's also the possibility that there's nothing back here. The supply, however, again, would just not be the greatest. But we might as well go step on this. We have the mobility to do it. And with that, we connect our front lines a little bit. I don't know if we're going to be able to move and attack in the same turn. We can try. Here, let me go ahead and just save a backup just in case. I save backups whenever I try to learn about mechanics. And we can! Alright, let's go ahead and attack. And the South Africans have reinforced up north, and now we can step on Massawa and finish up, I believe, yeah, one of the Italian colonies that has some MPP value that will now go to us. Our HQ in the region should be helping. Do HQs only affect the nationality that they are of? Because I noticed the Gurkha Special Forces are not receiving any benefit from this HQ. Does that mean that the HQ is... Well, the HQ still providing supply to the region around it? I don't know if it's particularly supporting the capabilities of the Indians. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that it's probably not. I don't expect the Ethiopians, the Italians, to move from where they are. So let's go take a peek down by Banga. Oh, this is kind of striking gold. We found their HQ. Now, our supply may not enjoy pushing this far, but if we push this far right now, it allows me to attack their HQ. We deal 2 damage, we take none, and then we actually... Let's see, what's our supply? It's probably not going to be very good over here. We actually still have enough movement to just go right back to where we were. And that should provoke a response from Italy. At the very least, reinforcing HQs is expensive. So that's quite a wonderful thing that we've pulled off here. Again, things down here in Africa are going to start needing mobility. We're going to go ahead and upgrade the Platte HQ. Oh my god, that's so expensive. I keep forgetting and remembering why I don't upgrade anything over here. Because, well, HQ-wise, because it's so expensive to upgrade HQs. I didn't leave myself a lot of MPPs last turn. I had just enough to upgrade these Air Force tactical bombers if I wanted to, but I didn't. I still don't know if I should. Because, again, they won't be able to be very useful until we get a British HQ across to provide enough supply over here. Yeah, I feel like part of why this supply is 5 instead of 6 is because this is a Greek HQ, and it may not be supporting the Brits. So if the Brits are going to head up there, the Brits are going to need their own HQ. I think we are going to go ahead and get some Brits moving up to Greece, though, because Greece is held off fine enough by themselves. If we can move the units in Northern Africa up there right now, that leaves us a lot of potential to use Greece as a continuous front to distract a lot of their units, just as we're going to be doing over in Brest. We're really, really pushing our limits here. But we're going to do it. So let's go ahead and put the WDF army over here in a transport. We just kind of have to hope that we don't run into any submarines. That is just the truth of it. We're also going to go ahead and put into transports. Wait, can you upgrade at all? No. put into transports the desert anti-tank here, as well as the special forces. This is a bunch of MPPs. We're going to take the desert anti-tank, and we're going to sail that all the way up north here. It's going to play a more defensive role, just sitting in the field next to this army, just in case something goes wrong. And look, it got there without being molested by enemy subs. I don't know how well the supply here is going to be without a British unit, but this defensive posture should help them attack this line against any attempts at encirclement. Now we need to hope we run into the same luck with our other units here. So the WDF army is going to go, let's say I bring you up to Athens. Hey, no subs. Nice, nice, nice. We can actually move you off of Athens immediately, creating room. All right, we can just keep going to Athens then. The special forces to Athens, drop you off. You'll just stay there for now. Oh, you can go here? This is a major river. You could just step on that? Maybe it's because it's a special forces. I wouldn't think you could step on this, but I guess you can. I guess I'm just wrong. We'll take the O'Connor HQ. Well, first, let's see. We upgrade the Desert Recon here. You know what? We're getting the HQ up there. Let's go ahead and upgrade this with ground attack weapons, these tactical bombers. Let's get the HQ. This is where mobility comes in handy. Up to Tripoli, where we're going to send the HQ. It's probably the most dangerous spot to send it out from. We're going to send that up to Greece. We're going to send all these Brits up to Greece. And you see, it's just such a short jump. We don't need protection. Whereas sailing through here to go to maybe Gibraltar or Brest, it's going to be too much. We'll send this corps ahead of it. This corps I plan on leaving here for now as a defensive force. So we'll see. This armored tank unit can go to Tobruk. The Desert Field Artillery is going to go to Benghazi. And next turn, they will start heading over here as well. With all these Brits over here, I think it's pretty safe to say the Greeks are not going to have to worry about falling because Athens is never going to fall at this rate. Now, looking up at the strait here, we are going to take the formidable cruiser, which has suffered some losses, put it in bomber mode. I found the bombers on carriers seem to be like very ineffective at hitting land targets, but they seem to be most effective at hitting naval targets. And if we look, that might be in their stats. Attack value, naval oh yeah, look at their attack values on land targets. It's actually terrible. If I just looked at this, I would have known this. And naval targets, though, is very good. All right, that goes to show what these carrier groups are really going to be good at doing then. I feel like it's a little ahistorical. That's not quite how that works, but I'm sure there's a balancing reason. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start trying to bomb this Z destroyer that has shown up. No presence of covering fire, which you love to see it, you know. We're going to go ahead and strike it again. Our chance to strike is really, really good, despite taking some losses. We've now chased it back. We can now take the formidable carrier, and we are going to, well, first we're going to set its mode back. Oh, I can't, that's right. To Plymouth, so that it can recover its units. And we're going to do this a little bit more as well. First, we're going to set to bomber mode the illustrious carrier, which has also taken a little bit of losses. We're going to go after this enemy submarine here. 2 damage dealt, more than promised. That's good. Let's go ahead and strike it again. Submarine dives from attack, but it did take 1 damage. That's good. And now the illustrious carrier is going to go back to the Southampton port. The enemy fighters just kind of seem to be gone. Well, all right then. We'll take the glorious carrier next, put that in bomber mode, and we'll go for that destroyer because we know that's very injured. We've dealt 3 damage. We took 2. It's still there. So we're going to attack it again. Come on. And we destroyed it. Enemy German destroyer. Yeah. Almost said cruiser. Dead. That's good. The German Navy is small. It's not that great. And it's not going to recover very quickly either. So I say that's some pretty good results. Still a little bit more bombing we can do. There's nowhere where we can safely store the glorious carrier. So we're just going to... You know, the illustrious carrier did not take nearly as many losses as the glorious. So if any of these recover next turn, it should probably be the glorious. So we're going to move the illustrious out of the port and move the glorious in instead. We still have the Ark Royal carrier. We have plenty of land-based fighters to kind of cover us. We're going to go ahead and we're going to spend these bombers on the enemy submarine. Submarine dives from attack. We can't see it anymore. Let's go for the other one now. Dealt 2 damage. Good. I just want to get them away from here. And unfortunately, they're still here. They're pretty ballsy. They're really, really trying to stand up to me. Now, I am nervous to send any destroyers down south because German, I'm not scared of the air, but actual German surface ships could try to come around and snag an easy escort kill if I do that. So I'm nervous to push through in this direction. I don't quite know that that's really going to be smart. We do have the Amazon destroyer waiting for ASW capability, so we'll go ahead and pass those off. How much does it cost to give a battleship ASW? Only 16. And the defense we get for it against submarines is probably pretty good. I'll go ahead and I'll do that. We have the Castleton nearby. However, the Castleton is not in any good range of anything. Same thing with the Bulldog. Nearby, but not in any good range of anything. The attack fighters we have here are not going to be very good, as we can see, against the enemies with their anti-air. So what I'm going to do this turn is I'm going to go upgrade them with ground attack weapons to hopefully fix that situation. They've been waiting on this upgrade for a little bit. I think, just recently got ground attack weapons, so that's nice. We still have plenty of fighters up here. Don't really need much else there. I will reinforce the number 11 fighters. We still have the Strat bombers we could be using, however. The MPP value of Mallow has barely recovered. The supply of it has barely recovered. We could still go for Cherbourg or Nantes, or even try to go for the ports, and in a lot of cases, we can do quite a bit of damage. In some cases, we will take some damage as well. And also, what's escorting us will end up changing as well. Nantes, a lot of these things don't have a lot of MPP value, and the MPP value it has is mostly going to the Italians, which is not of any major consequence. I don't think we're really going to strat bomb hurt anything over here too well. So, I also don't know our odds of just trying to strat bomb these villages in general. But I know this is probably a pretty important spot here. I can't get any upgrades or anything for the Strat Bomber, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to Strat Bomb Cherbourg. We dealt 2 damage. I don't know if that was to the enemy unit on it or to what's underneath it, but it seemed to have been a good result. Maybe it's to the supply on it. It's a secondary supply site. Right now, supply is down to 4. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do another Strat Bomb there. At the very least, it should be reducing... Okay, yeah, they lost MPPs now. Yeah, it's their supply we're reducing, so it's down to 1 there. Hopefully, we can keep fucking with the supply here. The ports are going to make it hard to do any real damage there, but so long as we're not taking damage, our actual strikes out are not going to really have any negative effects. I want these destroyers to get in a position where they could help deal with the problems that we are facing, ideally. And I want them there now. So, oh, what the hell did I just do? Oh, it's convoy mode. Okay, we're going to naval cruise the Bulldog destroyer to be right in front of the carriers here, so it serves as a protection from the rear there, just in case, you know, the Annapolis destroyer is not enough. And now we have some more opportunities here of where to position things. The Castleton cannot really reach there in any good time or effort. However, if we take the Annapolis and move it forward, we could always try to hit the subs and then put it into the dock and just move the heavy cruiser somewhere else. And I think I might try to do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and send the Annapolis forward. And we see the enemy sub here has 8 still. And it's a level 2 sub, very advanced. But we're going to go ahead and attack. Submarine dives from attack, takes 1 damage. We didn't take any damage. That's our only strike that we can actually do right now. And so the Suffolk Heavy Cruiser, I don't know if it's smart to send it up here because it's probably just going to run into the enemy sub. But it can still deploy elsewhere. Namely, we could go just place it over down by Brest to try to fully encapsulate this carrier a little bit more. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, it's not, like, the most important thing. We can get this destroyer into port where it will be safer. The Castleton, I'm still not really sure what to do with the Castleton, but it should still be over here where it could hopefully have some use as a defensive fixture of sorts. So we're going to go sail that near our carriers as another defense for them. We have some ports open that we could add some things. So let's go ahead and put the Southampton into port, get it some ASW capability. We can also go ahead and put, I think One of the battleships would work. Yeah, battleship or battle cruiser. Let's go with the Hood battle cruiser into Liverpool to give that some ASW capability next turn. I'm slowly running out of MPPs as the UK. It's hard to do everything with them because I just can't. We're going to take the Salmon sub. We're going to head it up into this blockade point the enemies were using. And same thing with the Parthian sub. They're going to go there and just stop the enemy from coming in here and blockading like that again, because I don't want to take any supply or MPP damage because of something so silly and theoretically so preventable if we just had the MPPs to do more about it. As the UK, I do want to allocate more research, especially now that I've seen that the enemies have been going really, really heavily into research. That's probably why my heavy researching is going generally so well, because I'm actually putting more money into making new units and doing things like that than the enemies are, I think, judging by what I've seen anyway. When I checked and I saw that Italy, when they got their 1,000 MPP plunder from Paris, they like immediately put 400 of it into research. A lot of it may have gone into producing units as well, but I know for a fact that they are still outspending me in terms of research, which is why I'm finding such advanced enemy units. I'm quite surprised by that, to be honest, but we should definitely keep getting things then that can help us. So I believe I'm going to go ahead and put it into long-range aircraft. That could help the carriers and all the British things of air, nature, and even naval. So that is now 1425 out of 2000. Okay, that leaves us with, as the UK, 80 MPPs. When it comes down to it, these mobility upgrades, like, they're just too expensive. I have put them into the units that were defending the UK, and I did put them into pretty much everything in Libya and to a lot of things in Africa because it's just so needed in these regions. It's not necessarily needed right now, especially not for these HQ. These HQs don't need any upgrades right now. And so I don't think it's going to necessarily be necessary for this Canadian Corps. That's only, quote unquote, 30 MPPs. So it's not as bad as it could be. But this front here is not very large, especially right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the HQ, I'm going to put it back at Brest, just so it stays somewhere safe. We are going to transport the first Corps, 27 MPPs. Okay, so it can just pop out outside the port as well. And we are going to want to get that moving towards Brest as fast as is humanly possible. I'm guessing all their subs are over here, so I'm not too worried for the safety of this thing. We're going to sail our happy ass over there so that next turn we might land these Canadians in Brest. I'll put the Javelin destroyer next to it just to make sure it has something escorting it. I can also do the same with the Mohawk, just put it on the other side, just to try to keep that safe. I'm not going to move any other destroyers over there. I think that's enough. We're going to take the first tanks here. We're going to move them. I guess supply here is the same no matter where I go. We'll put them in the Sydney mines. This has a port as well. We do have a Canadian Columbia destroyer that can be reinforced. I'll reinforce it as high as it can get here. It's going to have to go to the UK to get all the way up to 10. But we'll do what we can for it with the MPPs that we have. 33 MPPs remaining. I think this is what I ended the last turn with UK MPPs. I'm still completely ignoring Australia and New Zealand. I don't have the MPPs to spare with everything I'm doing unless I just completely ignore research or play less offensively over here with Greece and Brest. But this is 2 extra fronts in Europe. I feel like this is just so much more worth it. Feel free to let me know if you think that prioritizing down here may be more useful. I don't know. I'm pretty confident keeping 2 additional fronts in Europe open rather than just the USSR's front, which is about to open still, is a pretty smart idea. And instead, I'm, getting that coastal gun, hoping the Malayans can hold their own. At the very least, there won't be any Japanese marching down from Thailand, not if the Chinese have something to say about it. However, that's why I got the coastal gun. I'm still worried about any amphibious landings, and these air raids are still going to hurt. Whereas the Japanese have lost a lot of MPPs in their land force, their air force and their navy is still as strong as ever. So that's going to be quite terrifying to deal with. I think we're completely done with everything we're going to do with the UK forces, as well as India, to be honest. India doesn't really have enough MPPs to do anything. I once again neglected putting points into Finland, but I believe what I'm doing is just so much more worth it than anything Finland could provide with like 50 or 100 MPPs extra dedicated to them in this moment. Let me know if you disagree, but I think that this is the case. We're going to end this episode here. And so thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll continue this on the next one.